Hi guys, it is a very rainy day today in the UK if you couldn't tell already, and it was actually snowing last night, which was really nice. It settled a little bit, but it's all been washed away by the snow, by the rain. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm on a main road, so audio is going to be a little bit techie, but I just want to come on here and share a quick message. And today I wanted to talk about basically in one of my videos recently, obviously I was talking about navigating sadness and just a situation that was kind of happening in my life, and people were commenting stuff like, oh, I don't know what's happened, whether your boundaries have been overstepped or something, but blah blah blah, and they was giving advice and stuff. And so I want to talk about boundaries. But probably not in a way that you think I'd be talking about them, because I'm somebody that's very independent, that knows what I want, and that likes to do things myself, because quite frankly it's simpler that way. And when other people get involved and other people's feelings and it just makes things so much more difficult, but that's kind of the way of life. Like, you can't just be solo forever, do you know what I mean? Learning how to navigate relationships, friendships, family relations, like everything, that's so important, and like I said, that's part of life. So it's something that I'm working on. But being a very hyper independent person and doing a lot of reflective work all the time, journaling and shit, I set myself very solid boundaries. Yeah, in a way that I know that what I will allow into my life and what I won't. But you know, over the past year or so, my boundaries have been pushed. They've been tested, but by people that I care about. So it's kind of like, I used to be a person that if somebody overstepped my boundaries, they're out of my life. That is quite as simple as that. And I don't necessarily have extremely high standards or extremely difficult boundaries to understand. But if I felt somebody didn't respect it, I would immediately just be like, right, okay, bye, I'm better off by myself anyway. But like I said, over the past year, I've kind of been having a different take on things and seeing boundaries as a flexible thing. They're not necessarily fixed, they're flexible, because if you, firstly, not everybody's going to have the same boundaries as you. Not everybody's going to find something like stepping over the line that you might find, if that makes any sense. And what I'm trying to say is that not everybody will immediately, you might express your boundary to somebody and they're not going to immediately be able to, change their ways to respect your boundaries. Sorry, my dad called me. What I was basically saying is that I've kind of experienced it firsthand, being on the other side of things. Somebody told me a boundary of theirs, and I couldn't just immediately shift my behaviour to conform to their boundary. Does that make sense? It took a while of reprogramming the way I do things and the way I see things in order to be able to respect their boundary, or do as they wish, if it wouldn't be something that comes second nature to me, because we are so different as beings and we always kind of expect the same from one another. We expect people to treat us the way that we like to be treated. Is that the saying? To treat others the way that you like to be treated, yeah. But the way that you like to be treated might be completely different to the way that they like to be treated anyway. Bit of a tongue twister. But yeah, I think the whole key to it is communication. And if somebody does communicate a boundary to you that you don't necessarily you don't agree with, or you didn't think was a big deal, it's going to take a while for you to, like I said, reprogram. But if you care about the person enough and if you want them in your life, you'll be willing to do so. I think boundaries are a flexible thing. Otherwise, you're going to constantly expect, it depends what type of person you are. If you expect the best of the best from every single person in your life, then maybe you will have really extreme boundaries and you won't let anybody cross that. And that's fine. But I've kind of come to realise that I don't want to be that type of person, and I kind of want to learn from others. My arm is killing me. Whew. Let me give it a stretch. It aches from holding it up so much. But yeah, I kind of want to learn from others, and I want to understand why some people wouldn't agree with my boundaries, or I think there's just so much to it, and it's not as black and white as saying, I want this. If you can't give it to me, then you're not in my life anymore. And I've learnt this the hard way. But it's, yeah, I've enjoyed learning. Now, here's the thing. By no means am I saying, lose all self-respect and just forget your boundaries and people treat you the way they want to treat you. That's not what I'm saying. I think you have to frequently check in with yourself to figure out if your boundaries are still the same as what you thought they were before. You might have had boundaries in your first relationship that, well, like, say for instance, okay, after your first relationship, you've kind of had a look at everything that went wrong and you've now set your new boundaries. So going into another relationship, if this person can't give you exactly what it is that you want, you might cut them off because you might be like, right, I've learned from my mistakes. However, that's not really being open to learn. You can still communicate your boundaries with this new person, and this new person can try and work with you to find the best solution for your relationship together. It's not a one-sided thing. It's a two-sided situation. So, and vice versa, if somebody tells you one of their boundaries and you're like, oh, I don't think I can live up to that, don't just shut it down. Communicate with them how you think you could show them in another way. I feel like, yeah, I'm waffling a lot now. A lot. But boundaries are a weird thing. They just need to be communicated. They need to be checked up on, refreshed. Life has its seasons. You're not always going to feel a certain type of way about something. We're constantly learning, constantly growing, constantly changing. So maybe just I need to do it at some point. Have a little reflection on what your boundaries are currently and what you will allow in and what you won't. And if the people in your life are doing that for you, and if they're not, try and communicate it. It's only going to help you and help the others around you to form better relationships, friendships, whatever it is that we're talking about here. So, yeah, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.